San Diego's real estate market is showing signs of a seasonal shift. As we break out our heavy jackets and stash away our tank tops in lieu of colder months, are we seeing a chill in the housing market as well? Stick around as we break down the latest shifts in listings and inventory and what this means for buyers and sellers alike. S&P CoreLogic Case-Shiller Index reports hitting new highs, but also showing signs of slowing down. Wondering how this affects your home buying and selling plans? Stay tuned as we dissect the latest trends from the S&P CoreLogic Case-Shiller Index and what it means right here in our own backyard. San Diego's skyline is changing, but not in the way you might think. As office spaces stand empty and a wave of transformation is sweeping through our downtown and commercial areas. Today, we're diving into the shift from office blocks to potentially buzzing residential hubs and what this could mean for America's finest city. All this covered in this week's San Diego Market Matters, and I'm Karl, your San Diego Realtor. If you're new to the channel, please consider liking this video and subscribing to stay up to date on all the material I post about the San Diego market. And real quick, if you're thinking of selling or buying here in San Diego, there's a link in the description below that you can click on to schedule a time for us to connect so we can talk about your goals. Or you're absolutely welcome to call me directly. That's how most people do it. Now, on to the good stuff. Now let's dive into what's happening here in our San Diego real estate market as we officially kick off October. I've got some fresh data from August and September that's gonna give us a clearer picture of where things are heading as we move into the cooler months. First, let's talk about the new listing inventory. After a positive summer, we're seeing the numbers start to drift. In September, we had 1,654 detached homes and 987 attached homes hit the market. And this is down from 2,072 and 1,182 respectively in August. This trend is something to watch as it indicates a cooling period where options might not be as plentiful for buyers. Now, shifting gears to our overall inventory, it's also on the decline. We wrapped up September with just over 2,800 detached homes and just under 1,900 attached homes that are available. This brings our total to 4,752 active listings, marking about a 6% decline from August. Here's the critical piece of the puzzle: pending sales. These are homes that have accepted an offer and are in escrow. This number has been trending down since May, with only 1,908 homes entering escrow in September, less than half our total inventory. But check this out. Let's compare these variables to see what the market is really telling us. Between August and September, the reduction in new listings was down by 18%. This tells us that fewer homeowners are choosing to sell as we approach the end of the year, which, by the way, is very common and expected. However, the impact on pending sales tells a different story. Pending sales only saw a 6% drop between August and September, so more buyers are staying in the market than sellers coming to the market. If this happens again in October, we may see numbers of new listings that come to the market get completely absorbed by the buyer demand. Now, September closed out with 1,771 total sales, 1,158 of which were detached and 613 were attached. This is a pretty sharp decrease in sales of about 18% from the month before. It's important to highlight that while homes are selling, the frenzy of multiple offers is definitely less common. Our peak inventory post-COVID was back in July of 2022, hitting about 5,353 homes. But this August, we briefly surpassed the 5,000 mark before settling down again. Interest rates are also a hot topic. Despite the recent Fed funds rate cut, rates are hovering around 6.25% by the end of September, mirroring early August rates. And it appears that the slight relief in mortgage rates is making a subtle impact on the market. So what should you take from all of this data? For sellers, understand that the market dynamics have shifted significantly since spring. With a 30% increase in inventory since March, it's not the time to price ambitiously if you want to sell. Pending data is optimistic from September to August, but it's no guarantee for October. For buyers, the coming holiday season might be your golden opportunity though. With fewer buyers in the fray and rates stabilizing, you could find the perfect home without having to do the bidding war. With San Diego's inventory growth slowing down and interest rates staying relatively steady, do you think now is the right time to jump in the market as a buyer? Or do you think there's a better opportunity ahead? I'd love to hear what your strategy would be, so drop your thoughts in the comments below. Now let's jump into another market report that gives us an in-depth look at San Diego in comparison to the rest of the country. The latest S&P CoreLogic Case-Shiller index released its lagging report for July of 2024. This index marked its 14th consecutive record high, yet there's a subtle shift occurring that needs our attention. As a quick reminder, the Case-Shiller index is the premier and most comprehensive market study there is. And for July's report, San Diego took a bit of a beating. As of July 2024, the US National Home Price Index has hit a new all-time high, a 5% annual increase. Now, while this shows ongoing growth, we need to address the obvious. This growth is continuing to decelerate with every month. And this is expected after what we just covered recently in the September data for San Diego. As inventory has increased and sales have declined, we should see appreciation start to come down. There is a good chance though that if we see sales start to level off, the annual gain will also level off. San Diego itself reported 7.19% year-over-year increase, being knocked down to fourth place among the top performing cities. Ugh. Here's a data point that is pretty interesting for us though. San Diego, along with LA and San Francisco, shows significant activity in the high price tiered markets. So what does this mean exactly? It means that our most expensive properties are not just holding their value, they're actually climbing. Now let's break down what this deceleration means. While home prices continue to rise, the rate at which they are increasing is slowing down. This is a clear sign of a cooling market and confirmation of what we're seeing in the data today. This makes it a critical time for potential buyers and sellers to reassess their strategies. So as we observe these shifts, consider what it means for our local market. The increase in inventory is leading to a more buyer-friendly market, with negotiating powers returning to the buyer's side and more options for buyers to choose from. San Diego's real estate market is unique, not just because of our stunning coastline, our craft beer market, or flip-flop weather most of the year, but also due to our city's evolving economic landscape. As these national trends ebb and flow, they give us valuable insight as to where we might be heading next. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Do you think San Diego's market will continue to see the growth of high-tier properties, or are we in for a balanced shift towards more affordable housing options? Drop your comments below and let's discuss what these trends mean for us living here in San Diego. Now, let's move on to the next topic, which just so happens to address San Diego's inventory and the housing crisis. Real estate market crash videos are all over the place, more often about fear than facts. Facts of the matter is we don't see any data supporting an imminent residential market crash, but the commercial real estate scene, that's a whole different ballgame. In the heart of San Diego, office vacancies are more than just empty spaces, quiet hallways, and places to hopefully find rare Pokemon on your Pokemon Go app. They're a sign of a pretty significant shift in our city's economic landscape. As of the last quarter of 2023, 19% of office spaces in San Diego were vacant, mirroring the national average. Major cities across the country are wrestling with how to repurpose these lifeless commercial spaces into something useful and profitable. One innovative approach here in San Diego is the transformation of these vacant office buildings into residential units. The office complex, Tower 180, was recently snagged for a hefty $61 million, is now undergoing a $140 million makeover into housing and hotel rooms. This pivot could be a game changer for addressing our housing shortage here in San Diego, which stands at a shortfall of 90,000 units. I also like that Tower 80 will be housing hotel rooms. Those will definitely come in handy for Comic-Con each year. Yet the big question remains, will these newly converted residential units actually meet market demand? And do we have the demand for these areas like downtown? Or will the growing trend of companies reintroducing staff to office environments be enough? Amazon, being one of them, is requiring their employees to be back in office starting this upcoming January. Moreover, the construction of substantial office projects like the Research and Development District and the campus at Horton continues, adding millions millions of square feet of office space to the commercial market. Now keep in mind, previously Tower 180, 5 years ago, was a massive commercial failure, which is what led to its recent purchase and conversion. And here's something to consider. Think about Little Italy for a second. Little Italy is the beacon of downtown success. Despite being directly under the flight path, businesses do well there and the community thrives with very few units standing vacant for very long. This stands in sharp contrast to areas like East Village, where homelessness dampens desirability like a wet, moldy towel, affecting local businesses and residential appeal. Bankers Hill is another part of downtown that has been growing in a positive direction, with more businesses popping up and new developments being very successful. What I'm getting at is that hopefully these commercial and residential developments that are in the works will seek to model Little Italy. Building a great building with great homes in it is only the first step to driving demand and to actually providing a solution to the housing shortage here in San Diego. Now it's time to hear your thoughts. Do you think our commercial market here in San Diego can recover and flourish, or do you think it's destined to crash like the Hindenburg? Let me know in the comments below. And that's a wrap for this week's San Diego Market Matters video. If you found this information valuable, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you're thinking of moving to San Diego, check out the video I posted about the 8 things every buyer should know before moving here. As always, I'm Karl, your San Diego realtor. We'll see you next video.